Thank you for joining us, Eileen. It's great to have you here. If you could just tell us a little bit about what you do and your role, please.
Thanks. My role, what I do, I work for a company called Oxford Innovation, and I am the investment manager for the Oxford Investment Opportunity Network, which is OION, one of the longest running angel networks in the UK. And we help facilitate investment into early stage businesses. A vast number of those are spinouts from universities or have had their basic background from coming out of university. I also deliver something called Enterprise Europe Network. I'm a coach under that, and my expertise is around access to finance, access to funding. Enterprise Europe Network is one of the 3 programs that Innovate UK provide as free support to SMEs. And I work very closely with those companies that have received grants. So again, a number of them will be grants that have come through from universities. On a personal level, and to ensure no conflict of interest, I have also done a couple of investments myself, and that's entirely outside of the investment network and any work I've done under EEN. It's on a personal level. So I can see it from probably 2 or 3 kind of angles. Early stage investment.
So in these roles, how do you support university spinouts?
Well, as I alluded to, under the Enterprise Europe Network, we, Innovate UK, supply the information of any company that receives a grant. A number of those will be already started outside of the, or aligned with universities. And what we do is ensure that that grant is, the outcome from it is commercialization, even if it's a startup feasibility study. And then what's the next stage is, so we help coach those companies to ensure that they come out of that grant, they provide what they said they were going to do, and potentially there's the next grant going forward. It can be quite a long process if you think of feasibility to minimum viable product to first into the market and so on. And a lot of the universities are very much around IP, so the time and length to get actually full commercialization can be anything up to 10 to 15 years.
How well do you think that relationship between the university and the business angels currently works? Maybe is there anything that could be
it's hit or miss. The relationship is really hit or miss unless you're someone like Oxford University, which is very well established. Some of the Midland universities have come together as a group, and they divide their expertise, background, and their ability to actually connect and provide services, and how do they bring in the investors. But as I say, it's not one size fits all. It's what works in your region, what are the universities, and what are the people involved in the university, what are the current programs, does that program allow for angels to come in? And angels can be a bit of a rogue element anyway. So some universities can find it quite difficult to work with angels because they don't conform to the norm. Having that out of the box thinking is what enables companies to actually thrive and to diversify, to pivot, and to ensure that they actually reach the marketplace. And that's why angels are really quite an important element to come into university. There can be that rub between the two because universities have structures, they have systems, but if they're looking to spin out companies, it has to be set aside and a different mindset has to be used. That's why a lot of the technology transfer offices, how they evolve and who they work with, what programs they work with, what's already in the community, who's in the community, and very often who they know and who they can bring in. And so it's going to be about relationships and actually having an open mind to actually support this.
How best can academic entrepreneurs access the business angel community then?
It depends how active the community within the university is for spinouts. If you have 1 or 2 a year, it's going to be quite difficult, because then again, your angel, how do you engage with those angels? And it will be quite serendipitous again as to, do you find the right investor to come along and support a spin out? And if you haven't got a huge amount of, I suppose, number of spinouts coming out, what's going to engage that investor to come along? So actually finding other ways of engaging and supporting programs where not necessarily a spinout might come, but actually supporting the idea of entrepreneurship, what they require, what they need. Can they take that journey to a point it might not spin out, but the next time they actually create a business, maybe the spin out from the university, or the people involved in the university, the next spin out they will be 3 steps further on, because they understand what doesn't work, because they've actually worked with angels. And most angels have usually done it themselves, and it might be producing or creating their own business or exiting it, or they've been in business or large corporates where they've made money or want to invest, but they have a background and knowledge that can actually help those startups. And large corporates where they have, if an investor's come from a large corporate side, he's usually made investments at an early stage, and he's probably the one in the corporate that is bucking the trend anyway.
Do business angels act as mentors and advisors as well then to academic entrepreneurs?
They can do, yes, the right ones. Some investors are just investing because they want to make money. Others, it's because they have a portfolio and their financial advisor has said this is a good way of ensuring that you can offset your costs, because you can lose money and we can offset it. But those that are actually very much more hands-on are far more than just angel investors. They're doing it because they love the chase, they love the experience, and they love supporting. And many of them have skill sets that actually can ensure that anyone trying to spin out of the university could well be advised with and looking for. And it's sometimes just matching up the right people to ensure that happens.
So at what point during the spin-out process will a business angel or a network provide assistance to academic entrepreneurs?
What stage from a spin-out? Unless it's actually spun out, there's no way an angel will be looking to invest in a company. They're investing in a company in shares. And if that company, that spin-out, is not already incorporated, what is the investor going to invest in? The process that should be said and should be asked, and the question that should be asked, is how soon can you bring in interested angels who have a sector specific interest, or potentially are interested in providing support, background knowledge, and maybe coaching to those potential entrepreneurs that are looking to spin out of the university. And it might not be the first idea they have. It might not be the second idea they have. It might be research that they have and thought they were going to spin out in this direction, but actually an investor can come in and have a much broader reach and a much more surprising ideas. They look lateral rather than, well, this is what it's in, this is where it's going to provide, this is the spin out. When very often, that's the technology, that's where you see it from the university side, but actually from the outside, that's an interesting technology that would work in this sector, that sector. So actually having that broad reach of depth of understanding, that's what investors and angels can bring. And it's not just about the money. It is that background knowledge. And as I said, the right group of potential investors, or even 1 or 2 investors that are actually and actively work with universities, can be a game changer to actually ensure spin-outs.
And can you give any examples in your experience of universities or initiatives where that's already working really well, so perhaps others can learn from some of their practices?
Well, obviously, Oxford University, we work quite closely with them under the investment network. Under Enterprise Europe Network, I work with across the southeast. So I see companies spinning out of Guildford, out of I have worked with a couple of companies out of Oxford, Brookes, Southampton, University, all of these ones potentially that we work with. But as I say, sometimes trying to engage with those companies at the right time, and it might just be about an early stage, they're doing a feasibility, can be quite difficult. One size does not fit all. It's really, I would say, in some ways, it's personalities and building a broader reach of understanding and finding out what works. And you might have a group of 2 or 3 angels that come in, and the dynamics of them will put you into one direction. If one leaves and you bring in another angel, or you get another group of angels, how they will perceive it will be slightly different. So it's actually, I wouldn't say trying to say that this is the way you do it. I would say you need to open the university needs to open their mind of what's locally in the vicinity. How do they engage with those that potentially will mentor? Do they have a background in angel investing, and working out a program that will work for them? And that might be different things at different times, but then we're in a society that is moving and changing quite rapidly now. So why wouldn't it work by changing rapidly in this area as well?
So what would your advice be to academics who might be interested in spinning out a company?
Then an academic interested in spinning out from the university, I think they need to engage in more than just their research and within their department. They need to go out to see what their university is offering. They need to go out to see what the students are offering, what they're providing, what support, how to create entrepreneurship, etc. And I think most universities do have this, and whether they're the graduate focused, or whether they're department focused, or whether they're technology transfer office focused, doesn't matter. But sometimes I think a lot of these research very often get their head down, and actually they need to lift their head above the parapet and see what's already there. If they can't find what they need, then they need to start pushing. And if they're an entrepreneur spinning out a potential business from the university, they have the skill set to actually make things happen and change. And I would suggest, that if it's not working in the university, set it up themselves, provide that support role, suggest within the university this is what they're looking for, go out, find it, or ask people that are actually like-minded to go out, help them go out and find it and change. And it's an internal change that has to be done, but sometimes it's already there, they just hadn't realized it.